Big deal. That's always went with the territory. I'll see you in Disneyland.
My defense, because I am such a part of it. I mean, I obviously I'm going to bear the consequences, so why not bear the responsibility?
Okay, sir, is she still alive?
Are you alive?
Well, last time we saw her.
Mama? I killed Dean.
Brian?
Ma'am?
What are you doing?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back for another week.
Welcome back.
Thank you for joining us.
Los Angeles is on fire right now.
It is. It's up in flames. Literally, my mom called me saying, if it gets worse, can I come over to your house? I'm like, yes, because at least
we're a little further.
Clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least they don't breathing black smoke because they're in between the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire, which is in Pasadena. They're the hillside in between them. And I'm talking miles. They're not like, it's not right on them.
No, but it's close.
The embers are flying. I mean, Eaton started probably from the embers from Palisades.
That's exactly.
Yeah, which completely skipped over my mom's hillside to do that. So
it's
crazy. Yeah.
And the way that it spreads, it's just like, it's so fast.
Yeah. And all those homes along the beach, I mean, my heart aches for those families. And we were talking about it today because I know some people out there say, well, they're rich people and they're really rich. But you got to understand, a lot of these people bought these homes back in the 50s and 60s when they weren't $1 million homes.
Yeah.
Back in those days, nobody wanted to live on the coast, along the beach. It was considered hippies live there. My mom even at one point was living at the beach and she tried to move away from it because she said in the 70s is really like hippies and drifters, and it wasn't really a place for like business people were like, I'm going to go live on the beach. It wasn't that type of community. So, and I don't know how Malibu was in the history of it, but I do know that these people, a lot of them are retired. They're on fixed incomes and they're losing their homes.
Yeah.
And the only homes they ever lived in and grew up in. And it's devastating.
And I mean, at this point, I don't care if you have money or you don't have money, or if you're a celebrity or you're not a celebrity. Like, you're still a person and you still have children, you have animals, you have all your belongings, you have everything. And it's just, it's
devastating.
It's horrible to see all this happening right here around us. So,
and it's terrible because I don't know if people who live out of state are aware of it, but a lot of us can't get insurance in California anymore.
Yeah.
Insurance companies are leaving us because we've got earthquakes and fires.
Yep.
And the fires are devastating, and it hits every single year. It's not even the earthquakes at this point. It's the fires.
Every year.
So insurance companies are dropping these people who live in these fire-prone zones. So there was one lady on the news talking about how 3 weeks prior to this fire, her mother's insurance company dropped them.
Oh, God.
And so they're not insured. And that's devastating. And it's these people who probably have paid off their homes.
Yeah.
And some who haven't. And if you haven't even paid off your home, now you don't have a home, you still have a mortgage and no insurance.
And especially for those who bought these houses years and years ago, to buy a house now in California is impossible.
They can't afford it.
If you haven't purchased a home already, chances are you're not going to, because the prices are just ridiculous right now.
And you look at people is so mean in comments that you look at, like, why are these people rebuilding in fire zones and rebuilding? You don't understand. If you are insured, they're not going to say, here's money, go buy a house somewhere else.
Right.
They're rebuilding your home. It's literally, you pay a deductible and they give you the amount of money to rebuild, not to buy another home.
Yeah.
So you rebuild in the area. And plus, these are areas that we grew up in, and, it's
home.
40 years ago, they weren't in fire zones,
right.
know? And so all they can do is rebuild to get some kind of normalcy back. And if they want to, they want to. I mean, I know, and just put yourself in their shoes, like on where you live, no matter what state you live in. Like, there are areas that are tornado zones.
Yeah.
and your home gets destroyed and those people rebuild. And I don't ever say like, oh, why are
You're
they
in a
rebuilding?
tornado
Yeah,
zone.
why are they rebuilding there? You know?
Yeah.
It's just that's their home.
Mhm.
So these people own the land. They no longer have a house on the land. It's cheaper to rebuild
Yeah.
than it is to go out and buy another home and another property in California. The amount of a home, their land is probably worth more though than a home here, because I mean Malibu and Pacific Palisades.
It's
The property
that's
values are high,
wildly expensive, but
but who's going to buy there? Like fire just tore through there. I mean,
exactly.
you know,
I mean,
you know who's going to try to buy it?
it's
Are
devastating.
investors
Of course.
to drive pennies on the dollar to get it out from under them. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so sad.
It's
sad.
just, it's
So, but
devastation
yeah,
out
our
here
hearts
right
go
now.
out
So,
there
yeah.
to them.
So we wish the best for everybody that's going through that right now around
Yeah.
us. So,
it's really scary.
yeah.
So,
Thank God we're safe. So
Yeah.
we're good for now. We're just surrounded by it everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's just black smoke everywhere.
yeah.
So
It was smelling like I was at a campfire
I
earlier
know.
today at work. I was like, I feel like breaking out with marshmallows.
I know it's
Start
so
roasting.
terrible.
So,
So this week we're going to be talking about the new, I think it's season 3 of The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. I keep wanting to say Gypsy Rose. I'm trying so hard. So if at some point during this episode I say Gypsy Rose, I'm sorry. I mean Natalia Grace.
Natalia Grace, yes.
Because speaking of Gypsy Rose, she had her baby. So
oh, did she?
she had her
Oh, that went by
baby. I
fast.
believe it was December 28th, which is the anniversary of her being released from prison, which is odd, but
Did she get a C-section? Was it planned or
I have no idea.
induced?
I have
That's
no
crazy.
idea. She's been pretty quiet on social media. I don't even know if she's still with her boyfriend, or I know there was all kinds of stuff going on, but I did read that she had her baby. So
Oh, well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
yeah, so we are going to be talking about Natalia Grace, and if you haven't or don't know who she is, we did an episode a couple months back talking about on ID Channel. They've done this documentary of her following her life, and she was born in the Ukraine, I believe.
Yes.
And she is a little person, not only a little person, but she was born with multiple disabilities.
Yeah, she has like severe dwarfism.
Yeah,
That comes with a lot of medical problems.
her back, she's hunched over. Her feet are just
clubbed feet.
yeah.
and, like,
She
just-
wears special shoes. Just tons and tons of things. And she was with a family that was horribly mean to her and re-aged her because they thought that she was older. And
You
basically,
have to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much to the story.
yeah, there's a lot. So catch up if you haven't, because anything we say on this episode probably isn't going to make a lot of sense to you.
Yeah. If you don't have any background.
Yeah, if
to
you
her.
don't know her story, because it's a long one and it's got a lot of twists and turns. So we're in season 3 now, I believe, of this.
Yeah, like it was like a 3-parter. Like it started off with the family side of the story, and
then
when she
hers.
was little, and then her side of the story about what happened to her when she was little, and her side of it, and then now we're moved on to
Well,
it ended
Right at the very end
Yeah.
of that season, the second season, you think everything's fine and she's found, this family that loves her. And then all of a sudden you just hear this phone call, like, get her out of my house. She's the devil, on and on and on.
We don't want to have anything to do with her.
And then it just like left you on a cliffhanger for a year. And you're just like, okay, so what happened? And now that I've watched the show, this third season, now it makes sense to me, because shortly after the second season aired, she had an Instagram,
Yeah, she had her own social media happening.
everything, and then all of a sudden gone. And
Yeah.
so now watching the story, it makes sense. But what were your thoughts of?
So she had and so I'm just going to briefly, like, she had a family that adopted her from Ukraine. They no longer wanted her. So then they found this other family. That's the family that she was talking about that re-aged her. They found this other family they wanted to give her to. And during this time, they ended up not wanting her. So they were trying to kind of give her to other families. And they found a family who had dwarfism as well and had a daughter who had dwarfism, and they were willing to adopt Natalia. But reports came out about the family who was mean and who had re-aged her. Department of Correction, like child. What is it?
DCS. No, Department of DCS.
DCS.
Oh my God.
Gosh.
And we both deal with this on an everyday basis. Good Lord.
Ooh. So DCS was called, and the family, and forgive me for not remembering names, but the family that
it was the DePauls are the DePauls are the ones that
really wanted when
her
she was little.
Yeah.
So the family that was trying to get rid of her and everything are the Barnetts. They found the DePauls. Well, during this time, and Natalia was around 7 or 8 at this time, maybe 9 years old at this time. And they ended up having CDS called on them, the Barnetts. And so they thought the DePauls were the ones. DCS. Who did I say? CDS? CBS. CBS called DCS. Good Lord. These shoot the shits are really going down the shitter, aren't they?
Do you want to start over?
No, we got it. Okay. No, we're good, right? Everybody, we're good. So you're following along, right? That's why we say go to the last ones. And so the Barnetts thought that the DePauls were the ones calling DCS on them.
All I asked were her thoughts on this episode.
I know. So they said no. Well, this is where I'm getting with my thoughts. So they said no, that you're not the father. You are not adopting her. And so they ended up re-aging her and doing all this crazy shit. So you got to catch up on that. Well, at the end of the last episode, the Mans were the ones that took her in. So this is where I'm getting at. I was full on because even during the episode 1 with Natalia Grace, I was like, this girl is crazy because she gets these look in her eyes. She looks crazy sometimes. But you got to understand all the trauma she's been through.
Yes.
And having RAD, which is like where you have this attachment disorder because you weren't cuddled and loved enough because you were in an orphanage when you were little. And it just comes along with all these mental health issues. And so every once in a while she gets like this crazy look, or she does these certain facial expressions.
I think it was the way it was edited too, because they wanted her to come off as a monster. And
the first one we were really like, oh my gosh, this girl is...
because when I saw the first one and she hadn't spoken, this was just the Barnett story, I was blown away. I was like, this little girl is scary.
She's very scary.
First of all, there's no way that she's 22 years old. But second of all, however old she is, she's terrifying.
Yeah. They made her like the orphan. They compared her to the movie The Orphan. If you haven't seen that, it's a horror movie. Go see it. But my thought is that, so when I started watching this, it gave me the same kind of feeling, like the wishy-washy, like, is it the Mans that are crazy, or is it, I
Natalia? Didn't like the Mans family from the get-go.
They were a little bit predatory.
As soon as they said that they took on multiple disabled children and they had multiple children that were not biologically their own, right away I was like, okay, they're doing this for the money. They see dollar signs, and this girl is going to need a lifetime of help until the day she dies. She is going to be a constant paycheck.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what she was for them.
And they did. She signed them over as her payee. She gave them access to all her money, all the money. And I'm surprised that nobody protected her better in contracts and in trust and all this stuff. But I mean, they were offered money to go on shows. Well, Natalia was, and the Mans took her money and bought a house with it.
Yep.
And at the end of this episode, you start hearing who's going to pay the taxes, and the Mans are like, we're not paying the taxes on this. Bitches, you took her
Her
money
money.
for a house. The least you can do. And you know it was a lot more money because when she was trying to make a deal with them, like they were like, well, how much do you want us to pay you?
$25,000.
Well, she's like 25,000. I'm like, okay, that's a good sum. But when they were like, yes, okay, and they agreed to it like that, I'm thinking to myself, they got fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars
Yeah,
of this
because
girl's
they
money.
said that she made over $300,000.
Just going on the shows. That's not counting the money from
Yeah.
each of her paychecks that are coming in monthly.
Yeah, which is roughly $700 or $800 a month.
Oh, I thought it was like $1,200.
No, it's
It's
between
$700
$700 and
and
$800
$800.
a month. But on top of $300,000, and they're just gonna cut her a check for $25,000, and like, okay, like sign on the dotted line,
Yeah.
like, so we're not responsible, and
you're not going to come after us for our house
Yeah.
or any other money.
and she made sure of that, like,
But even if let's say it's $700 times 12. Okay, $8,400. Thank you. My calculator's over here. $8,400 plus they had her. I'm going to make it easy on me. 10 years, but they had her longer than 10 years. That's $84,000 just in checks alone. Like, and she even said, like, I'm paying their rent. I'm helping them pay rent. Oh, we get money. Once in a while, I get to go to the movies.
well,
And she needed surgeries too. and they
but
haven't even
the
given her
thing
that.
is too, when she asks the DePauls to pick her up from church and she's gonna like run away, she needs to get away from them.
she reconnects with the DePauls, the ones that were going to adopt her when she was like 8 or
Right.
9. They find her boyfriend from the UK, finds them on social media and reconnects them. And they have this plan of getting her out of the man's home because there's a lot of allegations of abuse in this home.
Right, like tons of allegations.
Yeah.
But once the mans reconnect with her and they get her on the phone, the first thing she asks is not, "Are you okay?" Her first thing was, "Am I still going to be your payee? Am I still going to get your money?" But mind you, this whole time they wouldn't allow her to get an ID. So Natalia can't have a bank account in her name. She can't fly. She can't get a passport because they want all the money to come to them.
Because the minute she starts getting these things that make her independent and an
Yeah.
adult,
And
they kept
mind
saying-
you, she's 20 years old now.
Yeah.
So she is an adult.
she is, but they're saying, oh, she can't do that. They make her so dependent on them and make her seem like she's not.
She's not. She is sharp
She's
as a
bright.
tack. She's a
Yeah.
very, very bright girl.
For not getting the schooling she should have had, for not getting the traditional schooling, for not getting what she needed, she actually has a pretty good head on her shoulders.
Yeah.
And I'm actually pretty impressed with her. I kind of thought her boyfriend, like when I first heard about this boyfriend from the UK, I kind of thought, oh, he's in it for like
Yeah.
the celebrityism or whatever, but he really helped her out.
He did.
And he really got her out of there. And when she tried to go back to the mans after being with the DePauls, he's the one who talked her out of it
Yeah.
and made her stay. And she's slowly coming around. And at first I was like, what is she doing? Like, why is she using these people, putting them through this?
Yeah.
She is crazy. She is evil. But then I really like Miss DePaul because she's
Yes.
just so patient. And she's like,
she did, and she fought for her, like
Yeah.
literally till the end. And she wasn't going to give up. Her husband at one point even threatened to leave because he's like, I can't take this anymore. This
There's a lot
is
of
too
stress.
much. I can't even imagine. Even the daughter, they have a daughter who is also a little person who was best friends with Natalia when they were younger. Even she was like, this is too much for me. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be around here. The drama is just too much. And I wasn't raised in a home like this. I'm not used to this. But you kind of see in this third season where Natalia goes, it's more evident now than it was in the past seasons how she does this whole like roller coaster of emotions. Like one day she loves the man's family and the next day she's bad mouthing them. And then the next day, but for the majority of the time, she's very protective of them, which you find out later why she is protective of them, because they're holding something over her head.
they're using blackmail and
Yeah.
because of the abuse, the past abuse.
Yeah.
She's
And there
afraid.
were multiple people on these 4 episodes that testified to seeing, hearing, witnessing the man's abuse her.
And all the other children too. I can't believe this family is still allowed to have those other children in the home.
That's my question. Like,
I don't know why DCS hasn't jumped in and taken this family.
Like where, where's this family? Like, what's happening with this family now? Because I thought when this was wrapping up in the last episode, I'm like, okay, we're gonna see something, and that's where I was like, something has to happen.
I'm thinking that after this airs, that something's going to but where's the responsibility of the producers to call? And I know that they said like DCS went out there, they didn't find anything. They went out there, they didn't find anything, because the kids won't say it. But there has to come a point, and I don't know. I think in California, because we saw it so many times with children who have died at the hands of foster parents and parents who have called multiple times and had DCS come out, we're getting a little bit stricter and a little bit more vigilant about our children. So, but back there, I don't know if maybe it hasn't caught up with Tennessee and, you know, all the other places where, because
this could be happening. Another Gabriel Fernandez, you know?
Yeah.
Because the way that they were describing, this one gentleman was describing Natalia being taken down to the basement and beaten. And when she's asked if the man's family has ever put hands on her, she says, I don't want to talk about this. Yeah. So she's clearly been given subjects that she can talk about and subjects that she can't talk about. They've made that very clear to her, because you see her whole facial expression change when they ask her a question that she knows she's not supposed to even touch, and she just gets like a very somber look on her face, like I can't, or she says cut, stop,
she's done, I'm done. And then the way she starts, so when she starts slowly coming around, she starts describing it, well, I would get whoopings. Well, those are beatings. Like, you know, it doesn't sound like, oh, I would get a little spank on the butt or anything, because the mom makes it sound like, you know, we spank our kids, we put a spank on the butt. And whether or not people agree with that or not, you know, some kids get spankings, you know, and that's just what happens. But when you start calling them whoopings, like, to me, that's a more serious spanking. That's more than a spanking. That's more than a little bit of discipline. And to me, hitting a kid has never taught a kid anything. It only teaches them to hit. But that's my personal opinion, you know.
Or when it's to that extreme, I feel like it teaches them to be afraid of you. And you put that fear in them. And that's exactly what was put into her, was fear. And
it doesn't necessarily make you a better person.
It doesn't.
You know.
Because now she doesn't trust anybody. She's got trust issues. And the DePaul family really, really wants to help her better herself, better her life, get these multiple surgeries that this poor girl really, truly needs and now can't afford because the man's family has taken all of her money. And you see her really struggle over, I would say it's like a year's time, maybe a little less than a year, this whole thing. But you see her really struggle and the ups and downs of her really struggling to trust this family. And this is a family that she knew from when she was a young girl. That she really, really wanted to be with them.
I was really scared because you know how they do the editing. I thought like this family's going to dump her again. Like, and it's going to cause more trauma for her. You know, is there ever going to be a family that's ever going to, you know, but I'm so glad they stuck it out.
And now I wonder because, you know, it takes us up to pretty much present time. And they really kind of sum things up like she's, you know, she's happy now. She is, she's doing well. She's going to look into getting these surgeries. She's going to go to school. She's going to, and let me tell you, Natalia's tatted up, girl. Did you see her?
No, I didn't.
So at the end of the episode, she goes to New York. And she does a People magazine interview.
Oh, yes, I did see.
And during her interview, she's got short sleeves on and homegirl's got tattoos. I'm like, okay, girl, I see you. I see you, Natalia. I see you, girl. You do it.
She's really pretty. She's a really pretty
she's beautiful.
Girl. Yeah.
She's beautiful. She has beautiful hair that was literally like so long. And you see her go through this whole change where she cuts her hair, she starts to wear makeup, she gets her nails done, she pierces her ears, and
whole transformation.
now she's getting tattoos. I'm
Yeah.
like, girl, do you? And the family that has taken her in is encouraging that.
Yeah,
You know,
you be
they're like,
yourself.
be yourself. You know, you don't have, and apparently the man's family was very much against, you know, all of this stuff for religious reasons, that your body is a temple. You only wear makeup to seduce men.
But this is coming from a guy who used to cuss, drink. I mean, he's a bishop by his own.
He made himself a bishop.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
made himself a bishop. And yeah, it's just insane.
Yeah, he used
It's
to
just-
be like a
this
big time
family's like-
partier and gambler and whatever, the whole thing.
Family's crazy.
And now he's found God and all is good, and now they're just wanting to take in all these people's children.
Yeah.
And they interviewed people. They interviewed people who went to her for daycare, used this family as a daycare. And they literally interview this little boy who says that he was beaten and that he witnessed Natalia being beaten, and that they wouldn't let him use the restroom. They were making him go to the restroom in his pants. And why are people allowed on this earth like that? Like, can we just take them off?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
take 'em
I just
out,
don't
get rid of them.
I don't understand. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen because of this episode. And I think that's why the mans went radio silent towards the end when they were asked.
Oh yeah, because they were very involved in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then towards the end, it's like, nope.
They weren't doing interviews anymore, nothing. And so I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with them and if they're being investigated, because I really think the children in their care are in danger. So
I'm more curious about the Barnett family,
I don't know what happened. Well,
and if Michael Barnett has received any therapy of sort, because that man is, I mean, we've never heard from from Michael Barnett's wife, who he refers to her as the Wicked Witch. Is that what he calls her?
It's just,
But this man, it's something you have to see. It's nothing I can explain.
he's unhinged.
He's very dramatic. He's I don't even know.
Yeah. I
But-
don't know if it's an act. I can't figure it out still. I don't know if it's an act, if he tries to be this over dramatic, abused husband syndrome thing, or if he was I just can't figure him out for the life of me.
I'm curious. Like, where are you at, Michael?
Yeah.
What's
happening?
What's happening with you? What's
Are you
going
getting
on?
the help you need? But
I hope he does,
yeah.
because he really needs, if not even from the Natalia situation, it sounds like his wife was, I don't know, like a lot to handle.
But for both of them, neither of them were charged with anything.
No,
by
but
putting a kid out into an apartment at 7-8 years old and
Yeah.
not being held liable or responsible for that, it just blows my mind.
And he makes a comment in this episode, because it kind of flip-flops back and forth, but Michael Barnett makes a comment about something about if she was just left with us or something, that like none of this would have happened, blah, blah, blah. But are you forgetting about all of the stuff that you guys did to her
yeah, it's
and your wife? And not even that. What about the fact that you and your wife have an autistic, very intelligent, brilliant son who you're making millions of dollars off of because he's like a genius, a mathematical genius, and they're making millions of dollars off of this kid?
I don't even know. We got to touch on that because I don't even have a clue about that one.
That was from the first season.
Oh, I don't.
Michael
even remember.
Barnett. Yeah, they interviewed the boy. He's autistic.
Yeah, I remember him. I remember the son.
And he's a genius.
Yes.
He's like a genius. And so the wife like flew him to another state and wrote a book.
That's right.
And was
that's
making
right.
all this money doing all these symposiums and these,
because she's the one who was responsible for his genius.
Yes.
Because of how she taught him.
And I'm like, these are the people that we are allowing to adopt children with special needs?
Yeah.
they clearly took Natalia because they thought they were going to make money off of her. And then
when it didn't happen,
they
put her out in the
re-aged her
street
and stuck her in a hotel in the worst, and not even a hotel, in an apartment in the worst area of Indiana.
Yeah. It's a really, really sad story. So if you have not watched it, you need to watch it from
the beginning
to the end. You need to catch up on that, or catch up on a super fast, like, we do an episode on it, but we do shoot the shit. So if you're not familiar with a lot of the stories and you want to get more of a timeline and accuracy as far as going from beginning to end, probably watch like a Dateline episode and things like that, and then come join us in our conversation and what we thought about it. So
because in these episodes we're not going to break anything down. It's just kind of giving our opinions on what we thought, because most of the time when we do stuff like this, she'll watch it, I'll watch it, and we don't talk about it until we sit down to record. So it's very candid, and a lot of times she has a way different thought process than I do, and we see things totally different. So but I think on here, I think we're pretty there's really not any other way to say this or to see this.
No.
I just hope that, because this is all very fresh, I hope that Natalia is getting the therapy that she needs, because she has refused therapy. She says that she doesn't want therapy. She doesn't want to tell her problems to people.
She doesn't like to lay her problems on other people. But that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
I
really hope that she gets the help that she needs and continues to do well, and this just isn't a vicious cycle that she's in. Of just, I know that I feel like, I don't know, but I feel like the DePauls are a good family and will support her and help her through this journey.
And get what she needs.
Yeah, and get her the help that she needs. But again, she's 20 years old and she's an adult and she can make her own decisions, and she's a bright girl. So you go, Natalia.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, Natalia.
A lot of wishes out there for you.
Keep getting those tattoos, girl. You look good. So thank you for joining us for another week, and we will be back next week.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.